Set your butane torches to high and your expectations to low. Coming to you live from Just the Tip Cigars in the hills of the Steel City. Get ready to get your fix. This is the Cigar Junkies Podcast. Welcome to the Cigar Junkies Podcast, a cigar show for the community by the community. A forum that talks stogies, booze, food, and anything else in the cigar lifestyle. If you're looking for ratings, negativity, reviews, or an authority on all things cigars, you came to the wrong place. Whether you like what you hear or not, please join the conversation and let us know by finding us at the Cigar Junkies Facebook group or emailing us at thecigarjunkies@gmail.com. What's up, junkies? I'm Corey.
I'm Sam.
And I am Jason.
And that's Eric. And we are the Cigar Junkies. And if you're watching this, so are you. So do us a favor. Follow the link at the bottom of your screen right there. Go to thecigarjunkies.com. Show us some love. You go there, you're going to find a few different things. You're going to see the latest episodes, which might be a couple weeks old at this point because we skipped for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
But you can also reach us via thecigarjunkies@gmail.com. You can find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms and give us a like, subscribe, share on YouTube as well. Welcome back, guys. It feels good.
Hey.
It's been a minute.
I feel good about this show because honestly, this show is work now.
Yeah.
A little because it's Sunday morning, because I have to travel. Like for me, I know Jason has a longer drive, but like, trying to have some fun on a Saturday night.
Oh yeah.
And then have to get up and schlub everything over here it's a chore.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And I hope that there comes a day when that no longer feels that way because we can find a new time frame or whatever. But today, we're starting fresh. We all got a break from everybody but Jason. And,
Yeah, I dig it, man. No, it's nice to actually, have normalcy. Well, our version of normalcy back at it. Yeah. Sorry.
That's my street nickname, Normal C.
Normalcy. Unnormalcy.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yeah.
How you doing, guys? What's good and exciting and news? We got 2 weeks worth of news to fit in, so.
2 weeks worth of everything. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What you got?
All right, so I've got this in the notes for later, but I thought about it and it had to come in here anyway. So we'll go back to the last weekend on Friday, I think it was. So first of all, I want to do something with the family, so we decided to go down this trip. If I don't know where you guys all live, right? But in Pittsburgh, the new trend is indoor mini golf.
Okay.
This is a place called Putt Shack down in the Strip District, and took the wife and kids down there. And this was on Good Friday, I believe. So we go down the Strip. Still couldn't find anywhere to park.
Perfect.
Food was all right. Booze selection was awesome. Shannon got some sort of margarita that was made with Dos Hombres mezcal.
Okay.
And it had a jalapeno popsicle in it.
A jalapeno popsicle?
No kidding, dude. Like, you put it's a little popsicle like this big. You stick it down in there, stir it in. You know what I mean? Yes, obvious connections. Sure.
No, there's a story with a jalapeno popsicle. That's why I'm.
So it was kind of cool. You know what I mean? It's pricey, but everything's freaking pricey these days. So all in all, it wasn't terrible. You could go down, grab some food, eat, hang out, nice bar. And then I was worried when I signed up about doing 18 holes versus 9 because I thought you might be just doing the same ones. But they have like 3 different courses.
Oh,
and what's cool is the balls are electronic. So like it keeps track of everybody on the scoreboard. And you can't flub it. Like, it knows how many shots.
No cheating.
Right. So, like, you put your name up and it tracks it and stuff.
Oh.
But it's actually, it was pretty cool. So we leave there, and we decide to walk through the Strip. Because I've never, on, like, a weekend, gone through the Strip district. Ever.
Yeah. It's the only time to go.
The wife hadn't done it for a long time. Kids never had. So it's like, hey, let's go for a walk, So we did that, and Kieran needed to shop for a prom dress. And they found a place they thought would have them. So they're like, we're going to go in here. And meanwhile, in my head, I'm going, okay, we're going to keep going. And up here, I'm like, Leaf and Beans, like 2 blocks.
I'm almost there.
Give us a call when you're done, So it's like, okay, they go into the store. We start walking. I got like, the cat that got the mouse smile on my face as I'm walking. And then we make it half a block, and I hear them yelling, Dad, wait. I'm like,
So
so they're
close.
like, no, all they had was leggings in there. And I'm like, damn. All right.
A whole store of just leggings. I guess there's enough demand for it now.
Yeah, for sure. So we keep going. And then my daughter looks up and she goes, hey, look, cigars and coffee. And somebody says, like, do you know that was there? I was like, yeah, it's where I was trying to sneak off to while you guys were in the leggings store.
Like, you got me.
And like, everybody embraced it. It was really cool. And my wife's like, it's fine. Like, go ahead, get something or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a candy store right there, like across the street. So they popped in the candy store. My daughter come with me to get a coffee, which I'm so glad she did. Because we walk in, and I'm wearing one of these guys, one of my junkie shirts with the skulls on it. So we come in, and there's a few people hanging out in there. My daughter's looking at the coffee menu and stuff, and I'm starting to walk through, and the guy behind the counter yells at one of the customers, hey, Seth, or whatever his name was. He goes, look at his shirt, look at his shirt. And I'm like, huh? He's like, oh no, I listen to that podcast all the time. And so I was like, oh, hey, man, thanks. We appreciate you listening. And he's like, are you on the show? I was like, yeah, I'm Corey. I'm like, oh,
hello there.
Blah, 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 blah. So the guy, Sean, works at Leaf and Bean, very, very nice man. Walks me through the humidor, helps me out a little bit, which was cool because I've only been in there twice since I started smoking cigars, and it's been a long while for me. And so it was awesome. I got like Oscar Valadares 10th anniversary, a couple of things that I haven't had access to. Goes out, gives me a big discount on everything, which was super nice of him. And then so we're doing the coffee thing outside, and Shannon tries mine, tries Kieran. We both got iced coffees. Hers was a made-up thing. It was nothing anybody's ever heard of. It starts with an H. It was like Habutapaika coffee or something. And my wife's like, she's like, yeah, maybe.
She killed that shit.
Stop.
I said shit. There was no.
I heard it.
There was no final T, but
here's the problem. Even if you stop short, it still sounds like the thing.
Yeah, that
I
one.
can't. I
You're
can't
the one
believe
that's
you
got
caught
the
that
sensitive ears.
because it went right by me.
Oh, the bad word.
Yeah.
Oh no. Soon
Going, I'm on it, is what got me. I was like,
oh. You're okay. I've had just enough. If I have like a splash more, then you have to worry about me. I'm good right now. I've had the amount of tequila I need medically to be alert.
I do not think that means what you think it means.
But at this point, it does.
You fell for one of the classic blunders.
That was awesome. That was super awesome.
Oh, what's the first?
Never start a land war in Asia.
Yeah.
And only secondly, never get involved with never go into the Sicilian when death is on the line.
He can't hold it. That's the only problem, because I could listen to you and him doing Kermit and like have some absurd argument on. That could be the whole show. I would happily not talk.
I can, but I have to do it louder.
Plus, there's a lot of coughing that's going to happen in there too.
Our medical professional said that's not a thing, Corey. I'm guessing referring to your tequila consumption.
Do you really trust him though? Because I mean, look how good of a firewatch he is.
Point and case.
Yeah. So, anywho's, I'm trying to wrap this up. So my wife goes like, hey, get me one of those. I'm like, all right, I go back, and he tries to give it to me for free. And I'm like, I could pay for a $4 coffee. Yeah, barely, but like I can. So I pay him, tip him, come back out. And my daughter's out there going on. She's like, it was wild in there. He's known in there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the Tim Taylor of cigars in a small section of the Western Pennsylvania area,
like a small region.
But it's kind of cool because my kid was there and she was impressed and stuff, and I was like, awesome. Cool. So that was the highlight of my week.
Corey goes to Pittsburgh. He gets recognized. I go to Pittsburgh. My daughter gets diabetes.
Oh, he leaned right into that.
Following that up.
He leaned right into
it. It's just over. It's done.
I thought we were just gonna kind of like
hey, let's go.
Dance to the edge of that one, but jam right in there.
Just
I laugh about it. It's fine now.
Okay, I'm gonna choose not to. I don't. Yeah.
Wait, I can see it. I can see it a couple years from now. Jason, and just have it like fade over to Walter Brimley.
You know what the worst part about it is? So for Christmas, my buddy Ryan buys me a T-shirt.
Not that Ryan.
And it's Wilford Brimley.
Wilford.
And it says diabetes on it. I have the shirt. I've had it for a couple months, and I kind of laughed about it now. So what we were doing after my daughter got diagnosed is we were looking at like T-shirts, and one of them was like proud owner of a bum pancreas.
Oh. I thought it was going to be like,
Embrace it.
Oh
Like-
yeah.
like-
Well, that's what we told her. We were like, you know what? This sucks, but we're gonna make fun of it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have fun with it. And my wife and I were just going through like t-shirts, and there's one that's got like crossed syringes, and it says, "Be nice to me. I take shit every day that'll kill you."
quarter.
Clink.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's fair. But you still have to pay. I feel
What's up,
like
Colby?
your mind lit up whenever he said the cross syringes. It's like, I don't like where this is going. What if you got a bumper sticker that says like my daughter's blood insulin is $4.98 or whatever?
Blood glucose.
There you
blood
go.
Glucose.
See,
I'm gonna be a professional at
There you
this by the time
Sure.
she's older.
Oh yeah. By the time it's not today anymore.
So I already had this I didn't tell you about it because I was saving it, but I did tell Jason about my experience. So it's like, so if you go in there, wear your Cigar Junkie shirt, because they
Yeah.
didn't even know who I was, because apparently it's a podcast listener.
Sure.
Clearly, right?
Sure.
Like if they were video watchers, they would have known immediately.
I hear that killed the radio star though.
It did.
you know what?
It's,
Rumor had it.
Yeah.
Rumor had it.
it's a mixed bag.
Rumor
So
had it.
your week?
My week, this week's been fairly uneventful, but last week,
Hey, you got
I was
two.
actually off. Yeah, we got 2 weeks to work on. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the kids and I went out to Columbus Zoo, Children's Museum, all that.
I thought you said you went on vacation. You went to Columbus?
Yeah, you know what? I knocked the idea, and I was incorrect. That zoo is, dude, it's huge.
See, that's no good. That's like one of the few things that we can hang our hats on here in Pittsburgh.
No, we can't.
Is like, but it was until you messed it up. You know what I mean? We're like, we got good hospitals, and our zoo's pretty good.
No.
Yeah, you just took that
Nope.
away from us.
Dude.
We only got one thing.
Not even like, I went to the San Diego Zoo.
Our sports
with the
teams all
kids.
suck now.
Yeah.
You just took away all our hope.
I'm fine with it. We're hopeless. But no, we went out there, and like half the zoo was closed because warm weather animals, and it's not warm, so like that makes sense to me, right? It's still 4 times the size of Pittsburgh, just like half. It's enormous.
It's
And
easy when your state is flat.
Yeah. Well, it's also what was his name? Jack.
Jack Ryan.
No. Anyways,
Jack Reacher,
you used to see all of his
Jag.
animal stuff on the TV back in the day. That was his zoo.
not Jack.
I know who you're
yeah,
talking
the-
about. Yeah.
The guy that wasn't Steve Irwin.
Correct. The other one.
The other guy.
But yeah.
So like Steve Irwin's the Bob Vila, and
Yeah.
that guy was Jack was the Tim Taylor.
Yeah. A lot of Tim Taylor today. A lot of Tim Taylor.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the jalapeno lollipop or
Popsicle.
So Britt and I had just started dating, I don't know, not long before this. Her brother comes into town, and they go down the strip, and they come back, and he had bought a jalapeno lollipop. It's shaped like a jalapeno.
With
like
a
this.
scorpion?
No. So he's like, oh, hey, do you want a lollipop? And hands her that. She can't do spicy stuff at all. So she takes a shot at it, right?
Jack Hanna. Thanks, Colby.
Jack Hanna, thank you. Appreciate you. At least I got the Jack part. I'm kind of happy I even remembered that. So she takes a look of it, and she's, oh my God, you guys are so mean. So I laugh because it's funny. It's a funny little joke.
And then
We're at her grandmother's house, and she is just screaming at me because why did I do this? And I'm like, I literally just laughed.
you're a terrible human being.
I just laughed at the situation to the point where her whole family's just looking at her to like, why are you mad at him? Like the one person that had nothing to do with any of this is the one getting screamed at right now.
Were you married yet?
No.
That should have been your first sign.
No, see that's the thing that was a test, and we moved on from it from there.
I didn't say it was a bad
we
sign.
addressed it.
I just said it was a sign. You know what I mean? Like there are things to come.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're going to be at
Oh
fault.
yeah, no, that's.
You better hope.
She was
Britt's
like,
not
I'm going to
listening
marry
to
this guy, and he's going to be the reason for everything.
Oh, I can
bad.
scream at him and he doesn't flip out. All right, that's the one. That's it. Locked in. Done. Well, so we got my weeks, his weeks. Is there anything from your weeks that you want to share?
Is there anything?
My past week, this past week
was there anything
fine.
positive? Is
Yes.
there anything positive in your weeks? Has April broken the spell?
April has come along. That's what's positive. That's what's positive. No, you know what's positive? I'm sitting here doing this podcast.
Right?
That's what's positive. Smoking a cigar with my buddies.
We need to do every other
coffee.
week.
Drinking some coffee on a Sunday morning, smoking cigars with my buddies.
There you go.
Enjoying life.
Salud.
I've made it through.
Here.
Yes.
Hold on.
The trials and tribulations. I thought you were at the right medical part already. Didn't he just say his prescription was full?
What, are you worried?
I'm just saying. You literally said, like, well, hey, I'm at the right amount. Any more would have been a problem, but I'm good.
I tell you what.
Nostrovia.
Salud.
Here's what we'll do.
What?
I'm going to salute you now.
Yeah.
Bloop, bloop. And then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the first read before I drink it. How's that?
Maybe fix that first. Like the cup that's randomly on a piece of paper, but holding it way too high.
Oh,
There
yeah.
we go.
That's
Was it? I was trying to see if your phone and your
off kilter.
Yeah,
is-
just a tad.
Shall we find out what we're smoking this week from
We
Just a Tip
should.
Cigars? It's time for the Cigar of the Week, brought to you by Just a Tip Cigars. Are you looking for the best selection of boutique cigars? Do you want the tried and true legacy brands that are synonymous with the cigar lifestyle? Do you want luxurious cutters, lighters, and other accessories? Do you want to relax in the most comfortable cigar lounge in the burg? Then you want Just a Tip Cigars. Conveniently located in the Bavarian Village Shopping Center in South Park, Pennsylvania, Just a Tip Cigars has been tailor-built to your smoking needs. Whether you visit in person or on the web at justatipcigars.com, when it comes to cigars, Just a Tip is the whole package. Just a Tip is the whole package. And yeah, it's nice to have a week off every once in a while. You know what I mean? We were never going to get the record anyway. No, that stuff is tied up. See, after that next class, I would have missed.
You guys are shooting for a record?
I didn't know.
No, we weren't shooting for one, but I'm saying it's unobtainable because like TCA is like 12 or 13 years without missing a single episode.
How do you think they got there? I'll give you a hint. It wasn't skipping an episode 2 years in.
That's what I'm saying. So what we did is we took the pressure off. You know what I mean?
No.
We don't ever
just
have to
started
worry
over.
about it. You don't have to. We don't have to worry about like being in the conversation. It's not going to be like Kobe versus Jordan.
Hey, listen.
Like Kobe
not
quit
even a
early.
conversation.
We laid down.
We took a break over Easter. Jesus took 3 days to rest. We can take one.
That's right. And you know what? I feel resurrected. Yeah, let's go. All right, guys, we are smoking the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Sober Mesa. This is a 6x52 Toro. It's got an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, binder from Mexico, and a filler, well, multiple fillers from Nicaragua and including Pennsylvania broadleaf. Baban. Pennsylvania's where it's at.
Nom, 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 nom.
So I got notes on the cigar. Do I hit them now? Do we just go
Just go
back into
after.
our conversation?
Let's go right
and save
after.
it for later. We can do that. The term Sober Mesa technically does not have a real definition. I think it's like slangonology from down in the in the below the U.S., which to me everything south of the U.S. is Mexico. Is that fair?
No, it's actually
Not really.
All right, I'm
incredibly
sticking with
not
it.
okay.
The term sober mesa refers to the time families spend sitting around a table talking after dinner. The first cigar Steve Saka blended for DTT after parting ways with Drew Estate, many fans expected the first offering to be the second coming of the Liga Privada number 9. Another little resurrection potential there. Yeah, no, it wasn't it. More than a few fans were disappointed with the cigar. It did not pack the punch of the Liga 9, but as of October 16th, 2023, the original Sober Mesa line has actually been rebranded, by the way. This is pertinent because I was trying to find images of the normal Sober Mesa and it did not want to come up
No, it really
because the
doesn't like to.
brulee has like taken all of the steam. So the rebranding is actually the Sober Mesa Solita. The change obviously made to set it apart from the brulee. In terms of coming up with a blend for Sober Mesa, the company says that over 40 varieties of black tobacco were sampled during development, and the final blend was selected during the 27th iteration. So it took them 27 to get to this.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's it.
If only it was 37. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 37 counting
Yeah.
you.
Why?
So I think that's pretty cool. The I guess not genealogy of the word. What am-
Etymology.
etymology?
I don't know.
It's
I
one
don't
of
Those
those.
all
edible.
sound pretty
I
impressive.
don't know if it's
to me.
edible or not.
But so
Eric, find out.
like Corey said, the sobremesa is the Spanish tradition of relaxing around the table, and it says during sobremesa, conversation is freely had, depending on the habits or the area of the country in question, coffee, tea, or small liqueur. in a shot glass is generally served, and a cigar may be smoked. The Sobremesa Hour is one of Spain's main TV primetimes. Now, I find that pretty cool because I've traveled to a lot of Latin America countries, and they all have some sort of like little like sit down, get together tradition. Like when I was in South America, it was whenever somebody would drink a drink called mate, and it was served in this little bowl called like a calabaza, and it was just like tea, and it was kind of one of those little traditions that they sit down and they have just people sit they sit down in BS and
social situation after the
kind of
fact.
just have.
You got siesta, sobremesa. It makes sense. Like you got your midday siesta after your meal. You got your sobremesa after your dinner.
Yeah, that's cool. Siestas. I got something for that. But Jason went into, like, I was trying to quiet communicate. I've got no problem just saying it outright. Jason went into like this weird reading Jason voice.
Yeah.
Where it was this very soothing, calming.
You picture like
no offense, because it's a great voice, but that's like the voice you want to hear at bedtime. Like that's Jason should be telling like the prince.
Corey.
Yeah. Dude, if you were reading A Princess Bride, it would have been over. I'd have been out. But siesta after a meal.
Inconceivable.
And they climb the cliffs of insanity.
So I'm unsupervised this weekend. My wife went up to camp to view the solar eclipse. I can't
Not
do
true,
that.
By the way. You're being supervised right now by her. So
well, that's fair.
It doesn't count.
But she went up to camp for the weekend because she wants it's a higher threshold for seeing the eclipse there on Monday because it's north of here.
Yeah, I'll have a higher percentage.
And I work midnight tonight, so I wasn't going to be able to do it anyway. So decided last night I'd take the boy to the grocery store, and we're going to buy some ingredients, and we're going to make smash burgers tonight. So I get like 1.98 pounds of ground beef for the two of us. Make 6 patties. If you've never done smash burgers, do it. Try it. Do them on the Blackstone. So there's 3 burger patties, each coming out to each sandwich coming out to about a pound of beef because I only split it between the two of us. So that we each had a triple, 4 pieces of smoked cheddar cheese, 5 pieces of bacon on there, toasted the buns with the mayonnaise and stuff. And let me tell you, I've never seen the kid eat a burger that big before. He did real well. I mean, my son, you don't know this. I'm a little man. My son is much bigger than I am.
Yeah, your son dwarfs you.
Yes. He wears a 15 shoe. He's 16 years old. He's taller than my wife, so he's at least 6 foot now. He's a big boy.
Does he ball?
Does he ball?
Yeah.
I mean, he can throw one.
But it's not something he's into. He's not into basketball or hockey.
Yeah, I mean, we used to do those things. He loved playing hockey. I had a hard time justifying spending the money on it when he spent more time in the horizontal position than vertical. But he's a good kid. But the sports coordination, I never had to worry about him being a prodigy at anything like that way. You know what I mean? But great. I could not be more proud of the young man that my son is. But he's a big boy. And watching him attack this burger was great, especially when the first piece of bacon come out and it looked like he was slurping spaghetti. You know what I mean? Because hanging out of his mouth. I sent a picture to my wife and stuff.
That's awesome.
So he finishes 1 bite ahead of me, which is great. I'm like, all right, good for you. We each had macaroni. We had macaroni and cheese for the side, and it was like, this burger is so big, neither of us dared take more than like 2 forkfuls of macaroni.
Yeah,
because we're like, this is probably gonna stay on the plate. But we both did that, both finished it. And when we were at the grocery store, I was like, pick anything you want, man. You want to get a dessert? Go pick one. We were in the bakery goods, so he picks one of those like tuxedo cake bar things that has like the 3 layers of cake with the cream in between and the shredded chocolate on top and stuff. And so I looked over at him like as a challenge. I was like, so you ready for dessert? And he looked over at me and there was like this slight twitch in his eye. And he was like, yeah. It's like, no, but I ain't backing down.
Yep.
So we each cut off a third of that thing and sit down and eat it. And then I laid down first on the couch. I'm like, I ain't even moving my body. I just tipped over.
Dunk.
He moved. He took the plates in the kitchen, which was cool. Then he come back. He sat down, and this is the first time I've ever seen my boy go into a food coma with me.
Yes.
He like laid down, and we stayed there for like at least 3 episodes of The Simpsons. He finally got up, went upstairs to do Xbox. I woke up like 3 hours later, going, "I'm not going to sleep tonight."
This isn't good.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was definitely. I was like, I'm gonna name this a coma burger.
That's pretty incredible.
So we used to do these bacon turtle burgers. And
Turtle?
It's
Okay.
a pound of
I
burger,
like turtles.
a pound of bacon,
Yeah.
and 3 natural casing hot dogs, a bunch of cheese, an egg, and like a thick slab of onion. And that's he really slurp it like spaghetti.
Check out the size of that burger, dude.
Jiminy
That is
Christmas,
a
man.
monstrosity. But yeah, we would do those, and it guaranteed coma every time afterwards. Just meat, sweats, and coma. It's too much. I can't wait to make them again.
I've got
Good morning, sweetheart.
I've got
Good morning, Dougie Doug.
a ceramic egg grill, and I love cooking on that thing, man.
He needs some tequila to up his volume, I think.
I think he's purposely trying not to.
Yeah,
But your noise gate's good.
No, my noise gate's not good.
Your voice?
It keeps opening and closing. Like right now, it's really open, and then
Yeah, he can hear it. So
yeah,
I'm
I
not
can
judging.
hear
Fair
it really
enough.
well.
Yeah,
You got the headphones,
yeah. He's got
which
that
I've
going.
decided is necessary
Yeah.
for your position.
Why's that, bud?
We found out the hard way.
Ah.
But
Thank
I
you,
mean,
Ryan.
did you guys really want to hear Sam anyways? You know what I mean? Like, I know what you're coming here for.
Oh, so what you're saying is there was a point in time where you could not hear Sam.
There wasn't a point in time. There was like 15 minutes of time.
Yeah.
Oh, good grief!
Oh,
it
yeah.
was like
It was long.
we actually kind of, and you know what's nice? This episode actually has been flowing perfectly. Like this reset has been really good. But there was a time, there has been times on this show where the three of us have not, and we've talked about this off air, have not had the best chemistry of flow.
Yeah,
where
the
we
cohesion just wasn't there that day.
Sure.
right. We would all just jump in, and it turns into one of those. In the cartoon, when there's just a cloud with arms and legs sticking out of it, and people rolling down a hill or fighting or whatever,
Yeah.
I feel like is a very good visual representation for some moments in this podcast.
Okay.
But we had a really focused cigar conversation that was new to the show. And it was like really good. And it took us a little while to get there, but we hit that stride. And then Ryan Seneca chimes in after like 15 minutes of like, I can't hear Sam. It's like,
Oh no.
Darn it.
Yeah,
it was very Happy Gilmore. Where were you on that one?
Hey,
That
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
Great.
See,
that wasn't great.
But what you don't understand is well, I mean, I guess you do now, but most of the time while if you're sitting in this chair, you're worried about creating the content and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the entire time I'm here, I'm looking at bars, I'm looking at levels, I'm constantly just
You're playing with stuff. Yeah.
right.
There was a time where I did that, but the time when I did that, there was no PA, there was no live, there was not often a live audience, and we always wore headphones so that we knew what was going on. So I hadn't considered how that change would affect things.
Sure.
Particularly when I'm like, okay, new element of Sam having to go up and deal with a customer in case he banged something on his way up. I muted his microphone. He'd come back, sit down. We had a conversation.
Didn't unmute it.
Never unmuted it.
No
Oopsies.
headphones. Had no idea.
Yeah.
So that's
I looked down. I was
content for a future
like,
episode.
Ryan messaged me. I'm looking. I'm like, hey, the bar's not moving when I talk. And he's like, oh no.
The disappointment in his face.
So deflated.
If I hadn't been married for such a long time and been used to disappointing somebody for that period of time, I would have probably been like shocked and heartbroken. But I was just like,
Yeah, it
yeah,
wasn't great.
been here.
So what would be interesting is if we had the time
Do you have the time?
to go back in and if we had a whole lot more free time
Like
would be to go
lip-syncing,
back
like
in
any.
and not even lip sync it, just say like random stuff. Like, and then that time I stepped on a duck and
Some of them will use.
or yeah, just put like random song lyrics in there. Like,
You know what was terrible
record
was
over.
I'd actually even gone in and isolated my section of the audio to see if I could bring him up through my mic, and there was just no way. It was just a lost cause.
Oh,
So I just
man.
cut a whole big section out of that show. The plus side is someday that'll be new content.
Yeah.
But it has to we have to pass a period of time long enough
We don't remember
where his booty can unclench and be past it, and like I can forget, which probably happened the second the show was over.
Did you cut it out of both productions? You cut out of the
Yeah,
video
had
and the
to.
audio?
Absolutely had
Okay.
to, yeah.
Oh,
So-
but you said you saved the questions from it because you were asking questions.
There's a
I don't
raw
know that I
file.
did.
There's a raw file that's saved.
Yeah.
So
So like
That's
your side of
accurate.
the conversation's still there somewhere in the ether.
Fair, as long as we don't delete what's on that card, we're okay.
Okay, fair enough.
So we need to be aware of that before we go like,
Beware.
all right, we gotta purge it. Yeah, where?
before we make some sort of change.
So
For sure.
you sent me a video. I purposefully did not comment on the video.
Did you want to wait until after the cigar news, or you want to hit it now?
Oh yeah, let knock out the cigar news.
Because it's in. I have it at the end under special jewelry.
I was like-
It doesn't
I went
have
to
to
comment
be at
to
the
you,
end.
and I was like, no,
Yeah,
I'm holding on to this.
yeah, fair enough. Do we want to do the cigar news? We could do
Let's
that.
do
we
it.
don't have a bumper for it anymore.
So you
because
could just
we
bump the
recorded-
show. That'd be cool.
We could bump it,
Yeah.
Bump it.
and
up.
you can bump the show too by liking, subscribing, and sharing on every podcast platform and YouTube. All those things. Get out there. Do us a favor. Just if you go to the cigarjunkies.com podcast. No, the Cigar Junkies. I always forget because it's different from the Gmail. One of these days.
TheCigarJunkies.com.
One of these days.
It's
the
not
Cigar
like you
Junkies.
can't just look down.
That's
the
what I
list.
should
really
do.
big right in front of you.
That's accurate.
That does
What,
help.
what I'll do is from now on, when I want to say it, I'll just point at you. It'd be
You
like,
go to TheCigarJunkies.com.
oh, you ever see the clip where the white guy gets
Yes.
the black guy to say the thing he can't say and he just points at him?
Yep.
That's how this is going to work. I'd be like,
TheCigarJunkies.com.
there you go. Go there, and you can find us everywhere you need to. And you could you could subscribe, you could share, you could comment, you could send us questions. All of those things help us grow.
You could even follow.
That's right. You could follow. Following actually is super duper important because we've got like $13 out there that we can't get our hands on. And the only way we're ever going to do it is if like 500 people follow us, not on the Facebook group, the Cigar
But
Junkies
on the
podcast, which is
page.
confusing. There's a page.
We're
for
easily
Cigar Junkies
confuzzled though.
We
No,
need to beat
it's
the
accurate.
algorithm.
Algorithms. It's kind of really, really messed up. It's like the gift card paradox. Like you spend the money, but then hopefully you forget about it and we just get to keep your money. Or you leave like 37 cents on there and a million people leave 37 cents and then all of a
That'd
sudden
be cool.
lots of
That wouldn't-
profits.
that
You know what I
wouldn't be
mean?
Terrible.
It's pretty good. All right. So I had to kind of take the cigar news and compress it a little bit.
PCA month, so
Yes,
Yeah, it's a
PCA. If you're not familiar, it is the Premium Cigar Association now. Used to be IPCPR. So that occurred
Close enough.
in the Vegas, and there was lots of things. So
Stuff.
I picked
all
and
that.
chose, but I do that every week.
Yeah.
Here we go. This actually is you got some people coming for this one pretty
Yeah,
soon.
this one's gonna be good.
Luciano Cigars and Peter James have announced an ultra premium cigar product known as Emergence. The Emergence line carries a price point of 60 to 66 paper Washingtons. I got it right this time. It's produced in small batches featuring high quality tobaccos and uses high skilled labor to produce. You would think they all kind of use high skills, but this is extra high. You know what I mean? The tobacco used are based on a rigorous selection process for leaves carefully sorted and for size and texture. Each cigar is produced by a single bunchero and roller pair.
Yeah.
So there's only one pair of folks making this cigar for the people, you know? Limited production of 100 cigars per day. The Emergence features an Ecuadorian Corona hybrid visa. The wrapper has undergone a low fermentation cycle for over 5 years. The cigar also features a Brazilian Monofina binder. The fillers are comprised of Nicaraguan, Dominican, and U.S. tobaccos, presented in 20-count boxes. The Emergence is available in 3 sizes. So probably only one in this audience buying that cigar in a box is going to be Ryan Seneca.
We should smoke that on the show.
Yeah.
He's like,
But
I'd like to
we
smoke that, not my expense.
Pay for it. I'd pay for it at my own expense, but I think it'd be cool to smoke that on the show.
Put your money where your mouth is. Pay for all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. See what I did? It got them on record.
Okay.
That's how you do it right there. Miami Cigar and Company introduced the Nestor Miranda Grand Reserva 2014. This is the third Nestor Miranda Grand Reserve released. It's also the first time Miami Cigar and Company has released a Grand Reserva since 2012. Produced at the My Father Cigars factory, the Grand Reserva 2014 features 100% Nicaraguan tobaccos and a 6 1/8 by 52 kit Bellicoso. Miami Cigars is releasing 1,500 10-count boxes. Not a lot. Oscar Valadares Tobacco and Company launched the Santiago Valadares Exclusivo USA. Santiago Valadares is a line that was initially released as a European exclusive. The Exclusivo USA will introduce a 6x52 Toro line extension that'll be limited exclusive size to the U.S. My Father Cigars showcased the Fonseca MX Edition. The cigar gets its name from its Mexican San Andreas Oscuro wrapper. The remainder of the blend features all Nicaraguan tobaccos. Packaged in 20-count boxes, the Fonseca MX Edition is available in 4 sizes and produced at the My Father's Cigar Factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. The Fonseca brand traces its roots back to Cuba, where Don Francisco Fonseca established it in 1892. That's old. Dominican version of the Fonseca brand has been made by the Quesada family since 1974. In 2019, the Quesadas sold the Fonseca brand to the Garcia family, the owners of My Father's Cigars. That's Don Pepin and Jaime, the son. Since the Garcias acquired Fonseca, they have set out to make their own interpretation of the blend. The MX Edition is the second release since the Garcias acquired the brand. In 2020 is the first release. And we got one more. Ooh. One more thing. CFW by Oscar Valadares was showcased at the PCA. It is a limited edition joint project between Cigars for Warriors and Oscar Valadares Tobacco and Company. CFW by Oscar Valadares is a cigar crafted by Oscar Valadares Tobacco and Company, and 100% of the profits go to Cigars for Warriors, one of our favorite nonprofits here. The cigar is a Honduran Puro, highlighted by Honduran Corojo Oscuro wrapper. The CFW by Oscar comes in 1 size, a 6x52 Toro. The cigar incorporates tobacco from Oscar Valadares' own farms, and the CFW comes in a 10-count box.
Dun, dun, dun.
So
which one of those are you most excited about?
I mean, to be honest with you, both of the Oscar, like anything... There has been so little disappointment for me from the Oscar Valadares brand. You can't expect everybody to bat 100, with the exception of the 2012 line, which I think is actually an exceptional blend. It's just not necessarily the correct construction for a box press. I can't think of an Oscar Valadares cigar that I've had where I was like, meh. Maybe the Connecticut Superfly, but I kind of knew that's not my MO.
That's not your wheelhouse.
Right,
yeah.
for sure. So it was like, that's not for me. But if anything that has a line that has a Maduro in it, you know what I mean? Is any dark tobacco coming out of that factory is 100% in my sweet spot.
Did you want to finish the cigar news that are on the back? That you put
damn.
There?
I didn't know.
Is Dan?
Nah, damn's fine.
Okay.
Designed like an ammo box. I'm sorry. So we're going back to the last thing I said about
Flip
the
my
stuff.
page over, and I'm like, oh, hey,
the boxes were designed at the Valadares factory. The fourth one under the Cigars for Warriors Synergy program, 1,000 boxes were produced, and I thought there was a price in there. I was surprised when there wasn't.
Yeah.
So at 14,
yep,
14 a pop, and only 10-count boxes. That's what I really love. Is like that's so easily approachable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're only looking at what is that? 7? No, I'm not going to try to math.
No, now you have to.
Okay, what did we say it was? 14. So that's 28 paper Lincolns. That's not bad.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
that's really not bad.
I was just like, oh, I'm going to enjoy watching this happen. No, it's a good cause too. I mean, the fact that, they're giving all of it back towards that, the whole profit of it is pushed on, which is the right way.
So I went to draw on this cigar, so we could do a check-in on the Sober Mesa Toro.
I'd like to.
So this is not the second coming of the Liga Privada.
No.
And essentially, Steve tried to put out something that I think had a broader appeal than the Liga does. And then he saved that for the Micarita. When I went to cold draw on this, I got first of all, the cigar was not entirely still lit. I just had to give it a bump. But I don't know where it came from. Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning. I know.
Bizarre.
It's stupid. It's
Brother,
not there.
You have 4 drinks in front of you. At this point, I've just given up on whether or not you're going to find.
Drinking 2 of them.
So,
And sorry, good.
oh, I was going to say, here's something interesting. So Corey and I, last year we went to the Barn Smoker, right? And
Yes.
we got a bunch of that brand of cigar, from
Drew Estate?
Drew Estates.
You
Yeah,
could say it.
we got a bunch.
I think he was drawing a blank.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it off the top of my head. But we got a bunch of Drew Estate cigars.
Maybe you couldn't
And
say it.
Drew Estate uses a lot of Drew Estate uses a lot of Pennsylvania broadleaf.
Right.
Here's the thing. When I hit that cigar,
You're like,
I was like, oh, that's Pennsylvania broadleaf.
Hey.
So there's one that
you can ID that.
I can identify the flavor of Pennsylvania broadleaf in a cigar now,
Sweet.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. No,
to be fair, I don't get any ranch when I smoke the actual cigar.
Right.
It was
I know
just a
what you meant.
weird,
Wait,
where'd that
why?
come from?
So I do want to clarify. If you look, we have a Cigar Junkies branded tequila sitting there. It looks like I've been staring at it for a while, and I'm just like, I
tease me.
I was going to say something about that. Like, we're going to have to tell the fans that don't worry, there is no Cigar
But there could
Junkies
be.
brand tequila.
There could be if you guys how can they send us some money if you guys want to invest in the cigar?
It's not about sending the money.
Yeah,
it's about liking, subscribing, and sharing. That's what they need to do.
And okay, but if we have any wealthy listeners that are like, you know what, Clooney did it successfully. Ryan, what's
Reynolds.
Reynolds? Yes. The Breaking Bad guys like Booze and celebrities. We're not really celebrities.
The
No,
guy that's not David Lee Roth.
But in Western Pennsylvania cigar shops, if you're wearing a T-shirt so that you can start a conversation, you might be like a
So
C-lister.
wear a
You
T-shirt.
know what I mean? Yeah. I would, yes.
Corey, drink the profits.
I would happily drink those profits for sure. But I'm like, for real, my heart lit up when you said that, because that is like my current dream.
Look at it.
I
Would you
know.
look at it.
I
Would you
see
just
it.
look at it.
Just
I
look-
am.
Look at it.
Just look at it.
Why do you think the table is higher on this side?
I thought it was from your conversation with Eric, but never mind.
Nah, not quite. That would be my dream come true. A Cigar Junkies branded tequila would I could die a happy man for sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
Where he's like, yeah, put it right there.
So obviously construction's perfect. Even though I had to relight, you can see how clean the burn is on that.
Yeah.
It is perfect.
Yeah, mine's doing pretty well too.
It is not as aggressive as it would appear,
No,
but it is full flavored.
it's really good for people that are like getting into the fuller body Connecticut's and they're willing to try some Maduros. You can kind of ease them in with something like this and give them that opportunity without the aggressive pepper and punch of some of the other stuff out there.
It's missing the barbecue seasoning, but it definitely has like that barbecue meaty, fully and
That
palate engaging.
See, I think it's there.
Texture.
It's which kind of spice are you looking for? And I think this has a lot going on with it. It's just not that
I got your spices right here.
pungent.
Cigar Junkies brand tequila. It's the spice you crave.
And one of the things I enjoy about this is a lot of cigars, as you smoke them, they tend to get more and more robust as you get down the stick. And this one is doing that, but at a pace that is
Nice and
much
slow.
more gradual.
Yeah.
Is that
than
what
a
you
lot of
enjoys
other
about it?
cigars. That is what I enjoy about it. That's exactly what I enjoy about it.
So I have them in a Churchill too, and I haven't smoked that. But the difference between the Robusto and the Toro is pretty drastic on that. Like everything happens a lot faster in the Robusto because it's shorter.
Sure.
So I'd be curious to see if it was too slow of a progression in the Grand Imperialis.
Yeah, you are smoking a different size.
Yes, I have the Robusto.
So
Because it was an issue on my part of somebody bought them all the other day, and I didn't think about it.
That's a good issue to have.
That's a good
I didn't
issue.
like pull them out ahead of time. So maybe I'll start doing that because
A little like stash, show stash.
yeah, which we have in there.
Protect your stash. We
Protect
learned
your
that a
stash.
few episodes ago.
Yes.
Protect your stash by liking, subscribing, and sharing.
Where at?
TheCigarJunkies.com.
There you go. That you say protect your stash. When you said it, all I could think of is like a hairnet for your mustache. I didn't say it made sense. It's just
It
what
didn't, but I get
it's
it.
what
Yep.
illustrated in my brain hole.
But I got like Dr. Robotnik. Like, that was the mustache that I pictured when you
Right
said
on.
that. So I'm
I
like,
think of Wilford Brimley.
you're back there. Debate us.
So when Jason come in and was like, I'm really looking forward to smoking a cigar, I was really comforted knowing that we were smoking this cigar today. Because here's the thing, like, sometimes we go into this show knowing a cigar is not going to be our favorite. Sometimes we come in not having any idea of how it's going to go, which is actually great. It's fun because this show forces us outside of our individual comfort zones sometimes. This is a Cigar Geek cigar made by the king of Cigar Geeks. So when you came in and you were like, I just want to hang out and do a thing and smoke the cigar, I'm like, this is going to fit really well for that.
And it has honestly.
Yeah, it's always a pleasant cigar. Oddly enough, normally when I smoke this, I get a lot of like baking cocoa, like straight up Hershey's brown and silver can. Mom told you don't eat that. You did. It was gross. You regretted it because it wasn't sweet chocolate. None this time. None today. And I mean, I've smoked a good bit of these.
Hey, Greg Perry.
Probably a dozen or so.
Patty, it's so nice to see you here. Hope Chichingo's doing well.
What up, Chris Scales?
Chris Scales, it's nice to see you as well. Forced to be awake. Yeah, it's been a long time actually since we've seen you out there hanging with us, Patty. I know they don't normally do Sunday mornings very well.
I don't think they normally do pre-noon anything, so
That's fair.
What a life to live, huh?
Well,
it's a hard knock life. I'm gonna grab some more coffee.
for
You need any more?
us.
I would love another
All right.
cup of coffee, bud.
So I think the one thing that this show is missing, and we should get to it, is the last quarter of the show where we find something that we all feel particularly nerdy about and just go hardcore into it. Like, so I don't know what that is today. Is it going to be 80s cartoons? Is it going to be Sega Genesis games? But I mean, you did break the seal with Dr. Robotnik.
It could be cigars.
Do you remember how impressive that game was whenever the commercial came out for Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yes.
When you're so used to seeing like Mario and like NES. And actually, I've gone back and seen some games from NES that I'm like, man, these are actually like way better looking than I thought they would be for that time era. Like I thought it would be very Atari-esque, but they did wonderful things with that console.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But when Sonic the Hedgehog came out, that was like being colorblind and then having surgery to correct it and being able to see colors. It was like, there's no way the game actually looks like it does in the commercials.
But you're also talking about like the Nintendo Entertainment System was an 8-bit system. And the Sega 32 was a 32-bit system. And
wasn't that the 32? Was it 32X?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So initially it was a 16.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
So it was still doubled.
Yep.
Right.
I remember putting that 32X in there and not knowing not seeing any difference.
Oh, really?
Well,
But you had to have a compatible game. It wasn't going to do it with a game
Virtual
that wasn't
Fighter,
ready
baby.
for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Sonic the Hedgehog, or the at least the one that was produced in 16-bit, isn't going to work in the 32 because it's not 32-bit.
You remember game magazines?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, like that was a centerfold you wanted to see when you were that age.
Mhm.
Was like Sega was good at, Nintendo was pretty good too. If you ever like were a kid and you had like the basic thing, like the Game Boy, and then you saw the picture of the Game Boy with all the attachments on it that looked like the Swiss Army knife that only a cartoon could come up with because it had more stuff fitting in it than possibly could, but like you had the screen magnifier and the extra speakers on it.
Yeah.
Game Gear had the TV tuner.
Yeah.
Like when you think back and you go like the dreams you have as a kid to be able to take a little TV around with you. Now we all have them in our pockets, and
every one of us has one.
and we can't. What did it do? It ruined the world because we can't focus on anything now because we could just pull out that little TV and watch 3-minute episodes of whatever we want all the time.
So you brought up old games. So my son, he's wanted to play computer. You know, hasn't ever actually played with a computer.
Okay.
Because
he's like 6.
Well, they've got a Switch and they've got this, and
Yeah.
they've got, like they don't need that, right? So I took my old PC and hooked it up, circa 2014, right?
Sure.
Pretty good,
Open it
really.
up, I'm like, all right, well, yeah, oh yeah, it's actually. I'm surprised how well it went. Other than the whole Windows 8 thing,
What?
Yeah,
still rocking Windows 8.
We live in the glorified world of still having to deal with work PCs.
Right.
So 2014 would be a massive upgrade for us at work.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like mine was an Intel X series in 2014, so it's actually not terrible. Still, it's not great, but it's not terrible.
Right,
still.
but you were also streaming then.
Yeah, and
We pay our employees with a DOS-based system, essentially.
Yes.
Well, so I get it all hooked up, and I'm looking through my Steam library, and I'm like, what's gonna play? Like, what's still gonna be functional on here? And I was like, oh, I got Crash Bandicoot.
Ooh, you could play that.
It holds up.
Yeah.
Like it's still a blast.
Yeah.
You know what was nuts? This was like what do they do? Does Shakespeare do like the play within the play thing? You know what I'm referring to? There's a word for
is
it.
it?
Not soliloquy. That's when they
no,
like
that's-
talk to the audience or whatever. But there's a term for it. So
Inception.
Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
Okay.
Okay. Drake sits down with his wife at the TV and they're like playing each other for high score to see who does dishes on Crash Bandicoot. And you sit down on the couch and he picks up the controller and it actually goes into the original Crash Bandicoot game. And you could play it as long as you want to. And I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And then I'm like, F this. This is miserable. Like, this is too hard.
Oh yeah, dude, the ones where you got to run from the rock and like there's just random mines everywhere. Oh, that's one of that's a childhood favorite for me. Like that was not even childhood, probably early teens, but like that game was just always a blast.
So if you were a kid like me and you didn't have all the monies, when you were a kid, like your friends would have a system and you would that's how you got to play everything.
Right.
Like this dude had an Xbox, I had the Nintendo, this guy had a PlayStation.
Yeah, you each had them.
So I never had a PlayStation 1. But and I hated the loading time because I was a cartridge guy. I was used to not having it. But the thing that was like the I kind of wish I had a PlayStation was Destruction Derby. Did you ever play that game?
No.
It was so good, dude. Because essentially is a demolition derby game, and there were races and there were pits and like your vehicle would take damages on all sides, and so like if you take another hit from the front, you're dead.
Oh, I do.
But if you get hit, so you would end up spending a lot of time driving in reverse because there's a lot. It doesn't damage your drivetrain and stuff as bad.
If you like that game,
that game.
There is an updated version of it called
Wreckfest?
Wreckfest.
I love
Wreckfest is a great game.
I love that game.
I'm just thinking of Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
I guess they made like a TV show or a movie out of it now.
They have, but it's like Peacock.
Oh, really?
It's Anthony Mackie, who's the Falcon from the Marvel universe, and I'm very interested just not enough to pay for Peacock. Like, like you couldn't have come to any other streaming platform. Like, yeah, we can watch The Office for the 37th time, but other than that, what do you got for me?
Oh,
Nothing.
something else in Columbus. So we get there. We went straight to the museum.
We had the same face.
It'll loop back. We go Children's Museum, then we go to eat. Look outside, and I'm like, oh, there's a game store right next to where we're eating.
It's like it's post-apocalyptic in
pull that drawer out, the top one.
Post-apocalyptic Columbus,
Grab
Ohio.
that box right behind the cards there. Figured you'd be proud of me, yeah. So I was like, it's called Beyond the Board. It was a cool, you'd have been.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It was a cool little store, but so
board game shop.
I walked in, yeah, but like it's a Jason shop. It's every character from any game you could think of is hanging on the walls in there for you to paint and build and all that.
Oh, those pages are gonna get sticky.
I haven't had a chance to play it yet, as you can see, but I picked that up there because he was. I went in there because I was like, you know what, I want a nice Scrabble board for in here, like a nice, an add to my collection of games and stuff. I'm like, a good Scrabble board. Yeah, that wasn't a thing. He's like, yeah, we have one chessboard. It's like the crappy half like plastic chess and checker pieces. He's like, we had them for a little bit, and he's like, right when Queen's Gambit came out, they sold like crazy. He's like, and now nobody buys chessboards anymore. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But dude was awesome. I was like, I want to buy something from him because small business, all that. And I found it's a trump card game basically. But he said he's of all the games that they have that they play in there, and dude, it's just like it's about the size of this shop, and the size of my lounge area is like all the shelves of games, and the rest of it is just tables.
Nice.
And like the white plastic tables like that with chairs around them. That's the whole shop is.
There are several places like that around here. Well, in the Pittsburgh area, there's one called Legions, which is up by the airport. And then there's another one that's up in Coriopolis that's in an old police station, like an old police station, like one of the 3-floor, like it was an actual like old police
there was
house.
Horses there at some point.
Something. Yeah. And the place out in Coriopolis, they have a room. It's huge, and all it is games.
Yeah,
like board games, card games.
There was
stuff like that.
2 groups playing Dungeons and Dragons there.
Yeah,
and 1 group playing Magic there on a Wednesday night at like 8:00. Like
nerds are nerds, but
yeah, it was cool to see, and it was it was a neat setup and all that. So sorry, person coming in got me distracted.
He's got nice hair.
Yeah.
I missed Jeff
I've seen that
Pohl.
hairdo before. Yeah. Yeah, he said he was getting into like his busy season. So, no,
I'm surprised you didn't read between the lines on that.
Yeah, I missed it.
Why would I miss Jeff Pohl?
Donuts.
I'm hungry.
Yeah,
I miss him for other reasons.
I got it. I was trying to make it less awkward.
I just expected I miss Jeff Pohl. You hungry, bro? Yeah. Dude, I remember being super excited about the prospect of like LAN party businesses.
Yeah.
Like the place you could go in and like a PC cafe, and they were talking about making one in Dormont in like the town I lived in, and then I got a girlfriend and just never thought about it again, and then it just went away in a blink of an eye.
We used to do that at my buddy's house. There'd be like 9 of us.
Do you remember toting that huge stuff around, dude?
Oh yeah,
it was so.
Everybody had their suitcase.
Oh, it was so.
Dad's old briefcase with a PlayStation, a stack of games, and
no, we're talking about PCs.
Oh, you're talking about a
LAN
PC
party.
Yeah.
Everybody takes their gaming PC to one dude's garage.
Yeah.
And you put them all on folding tables, and there's a torpedo heater going in the background. Yeah. And you sit there. And what was the game?
I'm just picturing the World of Warcraft.
Counter-Strike was the big one that we used to do, and it was a great time.
We used to do a game called Rune, which was like an old Viking fighting game. And then we did...
I think that got a reboot.
There was a Star Wars like arena fighter that we used to play. I don't remember what Jedi Knight or Jedi Academy or something like that.
Good games. The lightsaber combat was better in those games than the current ones.
Really?
Can I just? I'm just gonna
too in depth now.
No. So I acquired the second version of the newest Jedi series, which is Start with Jedi Fallen Order, which is a good game. Now it's Jedi Survivor. The character is very awesome. Like the lore behind it. Some Star Wars video games have way better stories than any of the movies. But the problem I have with this is you're supposed to like the idea of being a Jedi. Can I say bad -ASS? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if I could put money. You want to feel like a BA, man. Like you want to go in and own everybody with a lightsaber.
Yeah, you want that scene.
And like
where
there's
Darth
certain
Vader's just throwing
stormtroopers that you got to hit like 3 times before you even do any damage. And it's this game is like it has the combat difficulty of like a Souls game.
Sure.
If you know what that means, like if you're a gamer, you know what that means. And it's so challenging. And beyond that too, all your traversal, like getting through these games is so much constant puzzle that I'll be sitting there for 45 minutes just going, I don't want to Google it. I don't want to Google it. And it's like, why is this whole everything of getting from one place to another have to feel like a crazy puzzle?
Well, two things on that. First off, that's why I like the Hitman series. Probably one of my favorite series is because the game is a giant puzzle.
Yeah.
That's
Like
it's an assassination game, but it's a giant puzzle. So one of the things that I always held issue with Star Wars games is you've got what is it? The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, when Luke gets his hand cut off, right?
Yeah.
That was one little boom, and his hand comes off, right? And then in episode 1, Qui-Gon Jinn opens up a blast door with a lightsaber.
Yes.
And meanwhile, in these games, you're hitting a stormtrooper 6 or 7 times.
Like, no, we cut you in half.
With the lightsaber, and you're like, no, this is the ultimate weapon.
Yes. And they just make it like hitting somebody with a child-sized baseball bat.
Yeah.
And
a
it's like,
Nerf bat?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
And that's the thing. It's like, I should be able to go through swarms of stormtroopers and just bifurcate everybody.
Yeah.
And if give me a mix, like that's fine, but build a game where there's lots of enemies with lightsabers too. You know what I mean? So it feels like, oh, okay. Or
he has the thing that can
or
stop this
Mandalorians that have Beskar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something that's lightsaber resistant. But like the whole point of this is like, I want to feel powerful. Like that's the idea of playing a RPG, is to put yourself in a position beyond where you could only imagine abilities that you could have or whatever.
Right.
And then you go in there and you just feel like, man, I suck at this.
Man, I would do better with a rapier.
Yeah, you want more Devil May Cry and less Tomb Raider.
I want less Devil May Cry. Well, maybe
Devil May Cry is not a puzzle. It's just slash.
But the
slaughter,
but the combat is still Souls.
Yeah,
that's still a Souls game. Like those combats can be challenging. Make it harder to break through a defense, but like when I hit somebody, they should be toast, man. Like, so one of the things I did with my son this weekend is he was kind of like wanting to play this game on the PlayStation VR, but unfortunately it's only on the VR 1 and not the 2. We have the 2. We got rid of our 1. And so he couldn't get it. So I was like, pick something else, man. Like I'll pay for it. It'd be something for us to do together or whatever. So there's this game called Swordmaster. And like in the training mode, there's bow and arrows you could pick up and shoot to like, they're very challenging. But it's essentially, you go through this mode of arena fighting where it's like waves and you do one guy at a time, sometimes 2. Sorry, Eric. This whole thing is going to be very bad. Yeah. But like it's fun. You're sword fighting in VR, and it's like, and if you hit a guy in an armor spot, you can't hurt him. And sometimes it's real wonky. It's not perfect, but if you catch a guy in the eye slit, that dude goes down immediately because you stabbed him in the damn eyeball, which is frustrating because sometimes they stab you in the eyeball. And you're like I should have I was doing so good, and then all of a sudden you just watch your corpse fall in front of you, and you're like, I thought I was all right.
There were a couple real good fighting games like that back in the day. like PlayStation era, where they were like, man, I wish I could remember the names of them, but they were like weapon fighting games where that was the thing. If you hit the guy in the arm, his arm came off, and he had to like pick his sword up and like fight with the other hand and stuff like that. And
so there's a little bit of a cheaty element to it because you have like this Jedi or Thor ability when there's a weapon on the ground, because no crouching really.
Yeah.
So you just hit the grip button and it'll like float up to your hand, which kind of feels awesome.
Yeah.
But shoot, I had a point that I was going to. Oh, so the happiest discovery, right? As I kill a guy, or you. There are occasions when you don't just immediately kill a guy where he's like just kind of down. You have to execute him before you can move on, but he's defenseless. And so you'll like see if I could chop this guy's head off or do this or do that. And so the one time I like stabbed a guy and killed him, and the next guy spawns, but this guy's still on my sword. And I'm like moving all around, and he's just stuck there. And there's a button on there for kicking. And so you kick him, and the corpse goes flying off the end of the sword. I'm like, worth it right there.
Yeah,
$20, 100% to do that one time. You got my money. That's worth it for sure.
the name of the game I was thinking of is Bushido Blade.
Oh, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the dude on the front with the sword. I remember that one.
Let's talk about, first of all, what is there is a genre for me of terrible video game movies that are great. I can only think of two off the top of my head, but
that one.
Super Mario Brothers is one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with the video game.
Double Dragon was terrible movies.
Honestly, Super Mario Brothers, the movie, horrible, but for some reason, a really good movie still. Like all the weird stuff they did in that movie, if they just would have called it anything else, it would have been great by itself. But when you're like, but is this real? Like Mario? This is a very loose interpretation.
You didn't jump on a single
game.
Person's head,
right? 100%. They did. They did have the little bomb at the end.
Yeah.
A bad video game movie, the Jean-Claude Van Damme version of Mortal Kombat.
Oh no, he was in Street Fighter. And it was bad. And it was good.
Yeah. Street Fighter because Raul Julia's was M. Bison, and everybody was like,
"Did you hear the story behind why he took the role?"
No,
He knew he was dead. He knew he was gonna die.
Really?
He had already fought cancer for like 2 years. His kids liked the game, so he did it. That's why he.
I thought you meant he knew he was going to die in the movie.
They found like a memoir or whatever where he talks about. He's like, I'm going to do everything I can to just do the absolute. This is going to be my best performance because this is my last one.
No,
that's
kidding.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's funny.
So like, all right,
it was a wild movie. Blanca in there, like it was like the 70s Hulk, where the guy's just painted green.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, really.
All right, okay, yeah.
All right, so here's the other one, and this one's gonna hit you. It's not really a video game movie, except it kind of is, I guess. The more I think about the interpretation, it's more Home Alone for people that had portable electronics, but Three Ninjas.
Oh yeah.
You remember Three Ninjas, where the one kid's superpower was he used the Game Gear to beat up the bad guys? Like, because he was too little to actual fight, so he had like the thing. Dude, that should be a watch party for the cigar junkies, is watching Three Ninjas and like Super Mario Brothers and just terrible stuff like that would be great.
As I sit here and look, there are a lot of video. Did you see the Warcraft movie?
Yeah. It was actually really well done.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I remember it being well received, but but also I never played Warcraft.
Yeah. It may not have been like,
it wasn't amazing, but it was
right.
They took the classic Warcraft cinematics and made a movie out of it.
I was so impressed with the like the CGI, the production and stuff like that. The production quality on the movie, I was like, wow, this is really, really good.
Yeah, that was good. Tomb Raider was good, but I don't know if the movie was actually good or not. I was 15 and Angelina Jolie,
that's actually my next point.
I had no idea if it was good or not, but I loved that movie at the time.
Yes, my next point was going to be Tomb Raider. I don't know if it was a good movie, but the fact that we all got to see Angelina Jolie playing Lara Croft was incredible.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are some others though? Like you got that. They did the Uncharted series.
Yeah,
on Amazon.
Uncharted.
Really?
Yeah, they did Uncharted. Tom Holland's here.
Oh no, they did a movie. That was a movie.
No, it's a movie.
Oh, I thought it was a series.
You know what? Okay, so spoiler alert for that movie. it was a good movie for somebody that didn't love those games, because if you were expecting him to be the Drake you knew from the games and stuff, it
wasn't
didn't
going to work.
And it was more or less really the fact that they used was the Bostonian Mark Wahlberg was not the right choice for Sully.
I wasn't an Uncharted guy. I never played.
Okay. And for you that would be okay, and like a pretty decent experience. And the whole movie I'm watching this, I'm like, this isn't bad, but it doesn't live up to the spirit of the game quite like the characters, not the game. But then they did a high-speed chase with 2 pirate ships being carried by helicopters, and I was like, all right, you got me. I was like, Vin Diesel had to be involved in this somehow, because it was the most Fast and the Furious thing I've ever seen. Dude, I'm not even joking. Jason, do you watch that movie?
No.
There is a high-speed chase with actual, like,
helicopters
preserved pirate ships being towed by tow cables with military helicopters, and 2 of them following each other, and the guys in the back trying to catch the one in the front from the pirate ships. That's funny. It is a high-speed chase with flying pirate ships, and I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen right here. This is it. This is cinematic gold.
So how about Silent Hill?
Oh yeah, it was creepy, especially if you hadn't.
I never really played the games. But I had observed, like, my sister was one of those people. My wife is one of those people, but she could never play those games by herself.
Sure.
It's funny because, like, a super cool game that we got for the VR, and the only reason I got the VR too is because I got my wife so on board, is they had made a Walking Dead RPG that was based on the comics, Jason, not the TV show, but the comics. And so you're like in New Orleans in the post-apocalyptic stuff, and like you have to roll around in VR shooting zombies and stuff. And like it's really cool because there hits a certain point where this bell goes off from the church tower. It's like, okay, they're all coming out now. Like they come out at night. Yeah. And so you have to like rush back to your base or you're done.
Did you guys see Free Guy?
Well, yes, but can you hold it?
No, I thought you were done. My bad.
Okay. So we only got the PSVR 2 because they made a sequel to that game that was only available in that system, which is a lot of the reason I was able to get a PS5. And like essentially we put like $1,000 investment into my wife being able to play the sequel to this video game. Here's the best part. As far as I could tell, she played it for 1 day and has never been able to summon she's never been able to summon the nerve to go back and play again. Because she got through this point, like where she's like, there's this horde coming after me and it's crazy and I'm doing so good. And like, I made it the whole way through and back to my base. And there's a thing where you pull up the menu and you go like to like select from the menu to go into the base or save or whatever it is. And she's like, my hand was shaking so bad that I couldn't select the button. Imagine the horror movie with the girl trying to get the car key into the lock to open the door. She's like, home free. And she's like, I thought I was good, but my arm was shaking so bad I couldn't hit the button, and they freaking got me. And she hasn't played that game in like over a year.
That's honestly one of the coolest stories I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Like it affected her that she was like, I thought I was good. She was like, I wasn't freaked out.
The game
but the stress that it put on my body physically,
right?
I just couldn't push the thing, and she hasn't gone back to it since then.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Did you? I brought up Free Guy. Did you guys see it?
Great movie,
dumb and amazing at the same time. And I don't mean that in any way negative, but it's so cool because
it is dumb, but it is great.
He's an NPC who becomes self-aware.
Okay, we got older listeners.
Okay.
Define NPC.
Non-player character.
So when you play a video game, anybody that's not you or another person controlling a thing is an NPC. It's the people that just walk around and do what they're programmed to do.
Sure.
Yeah, but he becomes self-aware.
Okay. Who's in the movie? Who is in the movie?
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh no, I didn't.
Oh dude, yeah.
Jason.
Ryan Reynolds is in it. And it's just hysterical because now he gets a set of player glasses, so he can see the world like a player can as an NPC. So he starts realizing what's going on, and he's just doing these missions essentially, and it becomes a viral thing in the world of like, this NPC is awesome. So it becomes viral in the real world.
Oh, that's
while he's
cool.
doing it's wild.
The whole rest of the show, I know where this is going now. It's going to be
Shannon just
Ryan.
said true story. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
She did.
Sorry.
The Ryan Reynolds movies, the rest of the show. This is that sweet spot we hit when we're 3/4 of the way through, and we wish we would have started here. I
But
promise.
we've got 5 minutes.
That's fine. Okay, so he's not kidding. If you are you 3 to 11 today, or
Yeah, I'm 3
you
to
are,
11,
bro. You go watch that movie as soon as possible. Free Guy, so good. I think it's on Disney Plus.
I think it's on everything.
And then, how about what's the other movie he did on Netflix? The Adam Project.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Dude, no, it is the best part is that little kid. Is that a lightsaber? No, it's not a lightsaber. It's a lightsaber. No, it's not. And it's basically going like, we don't want to get sued by George Lucas, but yeah, essentially it's a
lightsaber,
George,
yeah.
it's a lightsaber. But watching him argue with his younger self, I'm like, that's 100%
That
what
kid
me and
was
oh my
phenomenal with the
god, it
part
was
too.
so good. It was so good. But that is 100% how I imagine I would interact with my younger self. Be like, dude, you're so embarrassing. Just shut up.
I would probably beat my younger self up.
I would just put my head down and walk away.
I think the younger me might beat me
there was
up.
no arguing with him.
No.
I am fully aware of that.
I know who I was.
Yeah. I accept it.
Dude, by the way, hurry up real quick. I don't know if I've said this before on the show. I may have. You want to hack for winning with anybody that's like busting your chops? That is the thing. Sons of Anarchy, there was a guy that had his hands cut off because he couldn't stop. He was a chronic masturbator.
Yeah.
Okay. And he would always, his name was Chucky. And he'd be like, people would be like picking on him. And he'd be like, I accept that.
Yeah.
And so there was this dude in the oil field that would just bust my chops. And it was cool. He was cool about it. But he was just like so charismatic. And I like couldn't win with him. He would just, I'd try to shoot back. It wouldn't work. And to be like, look at you, you short little bald piece of poo. And I'd be like, I accept that. And he's like, I got nowhere to go from there.
Yeah,
you just took
that's it.
away all
You're
my
done.
power. I'm like, I found the cheat code.
It's the
game
M&M
genie.
method from 8 Mile.
It's
Just
game
tell
genie,
them all
man.
the bad stuff
Like,
ahead of time. Go ahead. Now
Yeah,
what?
I accept that.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nowhere you could go from that. What's everybody's final thoughts on the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Sober Mesa Toro?
Fantastic as always, but the Robusto has more kick at the end than any of the other sizes I've had. So very, very unique experience size to size.
Shut up and take my money.
Just take my money.
No.
I'm gonna go back to it, man. If you let this cigar almost go out and you're drinking tequila and a watermelon monster, there's some ranch dressing seasoning in there. I don't know why, but there is. It's happening. It's a great cigar, great construction, burns great. Steve Saka, obviously the Buddha of the cigar geeks. So
I think it was amazing that today I realized I was like, when you were like, that's Pennsylvania broadleaf, and I took a drag of the cigar, and I was like, oh, yeah, that is. I've smoked enough Pennsylvania broadleaf cigars to know this is Pennsylvania broadleaf. This is what it tastes like.
So I've had to combine a few together because I realized that I haven't hit any of these people. So real quick, welcome to the group. Unk Fiesta, Linda Santa Maria, Jason Lefebvre, Mark Phillips, Cigar Bar Maryland, Kevin McGuire, Angelo Orito. It could just be Orito. I don't know. But make sure you guys check us out at the Cigar Junkies.
Special jewelry.
Oh, special jewelry.
Oh, damn. That's up to you because you're the time framer.
No, because I want to actually give it time. We'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll talk
Pushing
about
it
it
off,
next
guys. It's an interesting thing. Next week, on April 14th, we are going to be smoking the LFD Double
Not happy with you
Laharo
about this.
Digger. Now, the plus side is, what shift am I going to be on? I'm going to be on 2. Do I have that day off? I have
I'm
that day
shifting to
off.
midnight.
All right, we're good. We're gonna have the time for that cigar because that's gonna be one of the longest smokes
We're
you've
not
ever
finishing
had.
it on the show.
You don't think?
No way, dude. It'd be like a
6
3-hour
hours.
show.
It'll take me 6 hours to smoke that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Jason, our plan is to try to coax you to smoke it as fast as possible to see if you puke
You will.
on the episode. It would be fantastic.
And
Great
Seneca just said
content.
Jason should power smoke through it.
Absolutely, you
got it.
should.
You got
If you're
it.
in the PA area,
I'll tell you what. If I'm feeling good next week, I'm feeling better today. If I'm
Be
feeling-
hydrated.
Okay.
bring
right.
some sugar packets there.
All right.
I got the fun.
We need if Ryan Seneca, this is going to be a great show, but just in case medically we may need some of those fresh made donuts, those hot donuts.
You were going to ask them for something else.
That too, that's possible. Please support Cigars for Warriors, Cigar Rights for America. Links for their their websites can be found in every episode of this show, whether it's audio or video. If you're in the PA area, make sure you check out the PACC and PCC Facebook groups. If you're not, check out our buddy Troy Harper at Harper Cigar Lounge Group. That's pretty cool too. Next week's cigar, like I said, Double Hero Digger t-shirts available at thegalaxyboutique.com. If you're too lazy for that, you can find them at
thecigarjunkies.com.
That's it. Thanks for hanging with us. You can hang with us every Sunday morning, most of them, 9:30 a.m. on the Facebook group. Say the thing.
Salut.